Okay, welcome students to Analog Design using LT Spice series. This is the part 4, in which we are going to learn about the differential amplifier. In the part 1, we learned about common emitter amplifier, part 2, common collector, part 3, common base, and now we are going to move into differential amplifier design. Okay, so this is how a differential amplifier looks like. These two are, you can call it as a CE, common emitter amplifier. Only difference is you are biasing it with a constant current, right? It is known as constant current biasing, tail current, right? This is known as the tail current. This is like in the CE amplifier, we saw that we were biasing each of these transistors with 1 milliampere. So I am going to bias this again, this also with 1 milliampere current. So for that I take an I reference of 2 milliampere. What is this I reference? This is a current which is independent of VDD and also independent of temperature. So come what may, this is very highly stable reference currents. Okay, so I am going to apply it onto this transistor, right? And these two transistors, the base are connected to each other, and so that's why whatever current flows in this transistor, these two transistors are similar, right? They are similar in nature, and they have got same base emitter potentials the way it is connected. So whatever current is flowing here has to flow here also, because they are, exactly the same characteristics and with the same base emitter voltages. So that is why whatever we supply 2 milliampere current here, that is going to be, so this current which is going to flow in these two transistors, it is going to get divided into, if you are going to apply the same voltage here, it is going to get divided equally 1 milliampere 1 milliampere. And because this I reference is independent of temperature and VDD, so you are going to have a stable bias operating points. Okay, so these are two common emitter amplifiers, okay, which are connected like this. So we'll see what is the advantage of connecting them like this. Okay, okay, now what is this? This is the bias point. Okay, so because this, if you give say 0 voltage out here, these two transistors may not be switched on at all. So you will not get 1 milliampere current and 1 milliampere current. So you need to apply some common mode voltage so that these transistors are biased, and they are, and 1 milliampere flows in each of these transistors. So there has to be some specific range for this, wherein these transistors will be switched on and they'll continue to remain in saturation. So there will be one minimum voltage out here which you need to apply, so that these transistors are switched on. Again, if you keep increasing after a certain point, these transistors will come out of saturation, right? And there will be more droplets. So there is going to be an upper limit and there is going to be a lower limit for these. So that we call as, generally we call it as the input common mode range. That is, this bias voltage and has to be within specified range. Okay, within that range you can apply, you have to bias these two transistors and then apply a small signal. Okay, so and then why is it known as a differential amplifier? See, we can apply two signals at one here and one here, right? This amplifier is going to amplify the difference of these two signals, right? That is why it is known as differential amplifier. So it has got high differential voltage gain, that is voltage 1 minus voltage 2. It is going to amplify the difference of these two voltages. If I am going to give say equal signals here, which are in phase and exactly similar signals, okay, then the output will be 0, right? So the output, so it has got a very low common mode voltage gain. So so it is going to only amplify. So there are several applications for these kind of, you have seen op amp, you will learn about op amps. So you will find this is the first stage of the op amp. Okay, right? If you have some signals coming from a noisy atmosphere and superimposed with the actual signal, you will find, okay, the noise is common in both these signals, which will get cancelled here, whereas only the required signal will be amplified. So this has got very wide variety of applications. Okay, so is it clear? This amplifier is going to amplify only the different signals which are applied at these two nodes. Okay, it will become very clear once we see the derivation part. Okay. I've just inserted this slide to give you just a rough idea. I'm not going to get deep into this. Okay, this is a band gap reference. I told you we require current sources which are independent of VDD and temperature. So you can go through, you'll find many literatures which will give you how to make a band gap reference signal, biasing currents. Okay, so this is V reference. This is the reference voltage, and this is the reference currents. Okay, so you can generate this, and this is the current mirror. Okay, here we have used one transistor, simple current mirror. This is an cascaded cascode current mirror, wherein you have it is made up of three transistors. So the advantage of using these kind of current mirrors is it has gotten huge output resistance. We'll see. So when you look from the top, the output resistance is R02 plus R02 plus GM R0. So it is not just an addition of these two R02 plus R03, but there is a factor of R0. So these kind of current mirrors are going to be replaced here. Okay, and these two transistors will be replaced by these three transistors. I'm just giving a rough idea to you. Okay, presently we restrict it to simple current mirror and do our derivation. Okay, this is the small signal equivalent of the differential amplifier. So you are applying two differential amplifiers. So I am calling it as plus VID by 2 and minus VID by 2. Okay, I can ground here and apply only difference voltage in one of the nodes also. Like if I go here, right, I have shown two sources. I can just short this. I can remove this source here and give the entire signal out here also, because it is an AC ground here. So it will amplify this signal, right? It is the difference between ground and this place. Or I can symmetrically place these two out here. So whatever may be the case. So in this derivation, I have placed that different signal symmetrically across these two nodes. Okay. So now if you see this, if I draw a KVL, write a KVL across here, it will be okay VDD by 2 and minus VID by 2. If you add these two voltage, it will be VI, and IB is the current which is flowing, and there are two R pis. So 2 R pi. Now if you see, this is where I am going to tap the output voltage. If you see this diagram, this is where V out plus. I am going to tap the output voltage from this node. Okay, that node is VC2, right? This is the node where I am going to tap the voltage. And what will be the voltage out here? So from the small signal you can see IC into RC. So IC into RC. So if I divide these two, I get a differential gain of beta RC divided by 2 R pi. Okay, if I compare it with a common emitter amplifier, if you take just one side of the common emitter amplifier, it will be beta RC by RP. Here a factor of 2 comes. Okay, so the gain is you can say half that of a common emitter amplifier. Okay, so this 2 comes because you will find there is a 2 R pi out here. Okay, what is the common mode voltage gain? It is 0. Why? If I am going to give the same voltage at both these two places, okay, both the input, there will be equipotential, right? So there will be no current flowing. Since these are two equipotential, there will be no current flowing like this. So IB will be 0, IC will be 0, so the output will be 0. Okay, that is when we are assuming this transistor has got infinite R0. Okay, if this has got infinite R0, then this will be the case. There is no RE out here, it has got infinite R0 out here, so the common mode voltage will be 0, right? So but in all practical cases you will have one RE, which is the input resist, which is the resistance, output resistance of the transistor, which is going to bias this with the tail current. Okay, this, so you will have an RE. So if you have an RE, what is the voltage when you give a common mode for the difference signal? What happens is we are giving VID here, VID here. Still, that KVL is applicable. In that KVL, this RE will not come into picture, right? It is this KVL. So your differential gain will remain the same, right? Beta RC divided by. But what about the common gain? When you, like initially we said, when we are going to increase these two signals, if there is no RE, no current will flow like this, right? They are equal potential. But if you have an RE out here, when you increase the potential, current will flow in this path and this path. Is it okay? So that is the difference. Like when you have an, let me repeat that. When you have a difference signal out here, you are applying here differential gain. You will find R pi, RB, R pi, RB. So this RE, you will apply a KVL out here, right? So this the same KVL. So again, the differential voltage will not change. Whereas when you give a common signal both here, right? Because of this RE, some current will flow like this, right? So what is that current? If you see this circuit, okay, this is what this we have seen in the very part one, that it is a common source amplifier with the emitter resistance, and the gain is RC divided by RE, right? So RC divided by RE, but I put a 2 out here. Why is this 2 here? Because when you give an input signal out here, common mode, okay, this transistor also will contribute current, and this transistor also will contribute current into this resistor. You are giving both the signals simultaneously, you are increasing or decreasing. That is the common mode signal. So the effect of RE is twice, like one IE will come from here, another IE will come here. So this is known as the common mode. So our aim should be to have common mode voltage as low as possible and differential voltage as high as possible. Okay. Okay. So what is the input resistance of a differential amplifier? See, if you see from here, this is the input. VID is given here. You have 1 R pi and 2 R pi. So the input impedance is 2 R pi, right? And what is the output? This is the output node, right? So if you see here, it is RC. If you see bottom, it will be R0, but we are assuming R0 of this transistor. So we are assuming R0 will be pretty much higher than RC. So you can approximate it that the output impedance is going to be R0 into RC, right? Now, if you see here, the common mode gain RE, right? So if RE should be high, and that is the reason initially I told you. So instead of using a simple mirror like this, okay, we can use an cascode mirror, and there are many Wilson mirror, and there are other Wilmar mirror. There are many current mirrors available which has got a high output resistance. So that is the reason this R0 has to be high for making the common mode gain as low as possible, right? So instead of a simple current mirror like this, we can use this, so that ultimately that will result in lower common mode gain, right? So now I'll show you a small demo with LT Spice of how differential amplifier. This is the schematic of the differential amplifier which we have designed. Okay, I have used an plus 15 and minus 15 power supply voltage. Okay, so 1 milliampere, I have taken 2 milliampere here, so 1 milliampere and 1 milliampere would flow here, right? So to get a proper swing, I have put 15k resistance here. So if you put 15k, 1 milliampere, it will drop 15 volts here. So this DC operating point will be close to zero. So this voltage can go to plus 15 and minus 15. So this is an ideal operating condition here, close to zero here for maximum swing. That is the reason I have taken 15k here. So first we need to find out this ICMR. So we need to find out what is the voltage to be applied here, so that 1 milliampere flows in these two transistors. So it will have a minimum voltage and a maximum voltage. Minimum voltage for 1 ampere to start flowing here, and again when you go to the outer limit, when you keep increasing heat here, again these two transistors will come out of saturation because more current flowing through these two resistors. So to find out what is the ICMR, so let me first define this as a variable. I give it as V common mode. Okay, once we have given it as a common mode signal, let me remove this all these AC signals. Amplitude is 0, AC amplitude is 0. Okay, so let me give it as 0. Okay, so these are just dummy sources presently. Only this I have defined as a variable. So let me go to DC sweep, and this is V2. And since it's V2 out here, I have given V2 here. I am starting it value from minus 15 to plus 15. Okay, and I do the run, right? Okay, so let me plot the current which is flowing here, right? Current which is going to flow into this transistor, and also the voltage out here. Okay, I have plotted this. Now if you see, initially when I am giving very negative voltage here, this transistor, there is no current flowing here, right? And then from, say, from minus 15, 1 milliampere has started flowing into this transistor, and 2 milliampere current have started flowing into the tail transistor. So but after this point, what is happening, right? After this point, this transistor is coming out of saturation, right? So what is this blue line? Blue line is the current which is flowing into this transistor. Okay, so initially it's till minus 15 volt, till minus 14 odd. Okay, this is not even switched on. Okay, why will it's not switched on? So it is minus 15 volt out here, right? Here, right? So it has to be, this base emitter has to be forward biased, so you require some voltage across VE for this to be switched on, right? So this is in saturation. This will be, so around zero point 0.2 volt will be dropped across this transistor, and here another 0.7 volt. So from minus, so around 1 volt, you can say 1 volt. So it is minus 15. So at least minus 14 onwards, this transistor will start conducting. So that is the reason from minus 14 onwards it has started. Now if you keep increasing after certain point, okay, this transistor will come out of saturation. So the useful range is somewhere from minus 15, minus 14 to minus 1. Okay, so now let me close this window. Okay, so now we know what is the useful range what we have. So let me take the midpoint somewhere minus 5 volt. Okay, now I have to find out the differential gain. So I'm not going to give any signal out here. I'll give only in one of the sources. Let me give an amplitude of, say, 5 milli. So peak to peak will be 10 milli, right? Amplitude is 10 milli or 5 milli. Okay, AC amplitude also, let me give it as 1. Okay, so let me go to transient analysis, 10 milli. Okay, and run, and let me plot this voltage, and let me plot this voltage. Let me take it out. Okay, add plot plane. Let me take this into a different plane. Okay, so what is this? This is 10 milli input signal, right? Differential, it's only 10 milli. What about the output? Okay, output is, how to measure the output? I told you, we can go here, right? Cursor 1 and 2. Okay, let me put the first cursor on top, put the second cursor on the bottom somewhere here. So you see the difference is 2.6 volts, right? 2.6 volts, and this difference is 5 milli, 5 milli, 10 milli. So the gain is 260. So what is the differential gain? The differential gain is 260. Okay, so now we got to find out what is the common gain also, right? To find out what is the common gain, now what I am going to do is I am going to put uh, uh, an 5 milli this side also, right? And I am going to put it as an amplitude 1. Okay, check and save, and I am going to run it. So you see there is no output voltage. It is close to minus 1 volt only. There is no output voltage at all available, because it's not going to amplify anything, right? It's not going, because you have given the same input signal at both the places, right? Now let me do one more thing. Let me put this as minus. They're out of phase now, right? They are out of phase, right? So now you see, once you are doing out of phase, you have from minus 4 to 1. It is almost more than 500 gain, because more than minus 5 and minus the difference is minus 5, it is minus 5 millivolt, minus 10 millivolt, right? So this is input is minus 10 millivolt, output is goes from say 1.5 to 4 3 point minus 5.5, okay, around 550. So the gain is a huge gain. So what is this differential amplifier? If I give the same phase signals, okay, if I give the same phase signals, that is, if I give a common signal, it is not going to amplify. If I give a different signal, it is going to amplify. That is how a differential amplifier works. Okay, let me just show you one more circuit here. Right. Differential amplifier cascade, right? This is the cascade amplifier. Okay, why this is like we have learnt uh, about the common base amplifier in the tutorial number 3. We learnt about cascade amplifier, how this is going to improve the frequency response. So this is how a cascade differential amplifier, wherein you have used this is to improve the frequency response, right? So this is how we do a cascade differential amplifier. So I let me close these windows. Let me close this window. Okay, I can run this and plot this. So you see it's showing minus 16 dB gain. Okay, why is that so? Let me see why is that so. Because what is the voltage given here? AC amplitude 1 out here, right? And here again AC amplitude 1. So I am giving the same signal at both. So the common mode gain is, right, the common mode gain is very no, low, negative. Negative means it's not amplifying, it is attenuating, right? So it is not amplifying the common mode signals, right? Now if I, okay, see this amplitude is for transient response, okay, this is for the AC response, right? Now I am going to put it as 0. Okay, now I am not given any signal here, I am given an AC signal here, I have not given any. So now there is a differential signal input available. If I run this, right, if you see what is the gain, now 50 dB gain, right? And this is the bandwidth close to 1 megahertz. I told you this restriction, like I told you in my this low bandwidth is because of the transistors what we are using. Okay, they are all low frequency transistors. They're not suitable for RF applications, right? So although we are using a cascade, we are not getting a high bandwidth because of the limitations of the transistors. Is it okay? So that's all on differential amplifiers. Okay, thanks a lot.